everybody, I'm Catherine and I'm here today with a review for The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Look how pretty this is. Like, it's so simple and beautiful. And then, this is the best part. Look at how gorgeous this is naked. Like with the spinal detail and just all of this. I wish all books could just be like this. Just so beautiful. I mean, they are, but you know what I mean. So The Night Circus is, a book about a circus that happens at night, which, you know, makes it very easy to literally judge the book by the cover because, I mean, hello, it's a circus. A circus. The name is Night Circus. You kind of figure it's about a circus. Of course, this book really is about so much more than just a circus. While the circus in this book acts like the heart and the cement for the entire story, it really isn't completely what the whole thing is about. It is a very large part, yes, but the main part of this book is the relationships that the two main characters, Celia and Marco, have, and then everyone else that is in here. And I'm talking everyone. This is a very large ensemble cast for a book, and it at times was a little confusing just simply because there's at least 12 main characters, 10 of which are like secondary main characters, and then 2 which are your main characters, Celia and Marco. But they're all so interconnected to each other, you really can't have one without at least one other because they all just are all together. But really, the basis of this is Celia and Marco and their competition with each other, which, I mean, they don't find out it's each other until later, and that's part of it, but it's confusing. Celia and Marco are 2 competing competitors in this book, and they're both different styles of magician type people. They do the magic, let's put it that way. And they do this and they compete with each other through the circus. Like, one will add one thing and one will respond, and it's a give and a take, and they're like trying to continually one-up each other so that eventually one of them will be declared the winner. So this book, it did take me a little while to actually immerse myself into it. I mean, aside from the fact that it took me years to actually physically pick it up off my shelf and start reading it, although technically I started with the audiobook from the library and then continued from there. But anyway, the reason that it takes a while, at least the reason it took me a while, is because the way that this book is set up, it's actually spanning 40 years. It's 1873 to about 1903. That's 30 years. I can't do math. It's spanning 30 years from 1873 to 1903, but then you actually have it going beyond that as well. And past events from like 100 years previous are also brought in. So really, this book just encompasses over a century of characters and build-up and everything. And you're trying to keep it all straight while you're reading. And that's where my first problem came in with this book. It doesn't do the story chronologically. To a certain extent, it does. The beginning is the beginning and the end is the end. And those are the starting and end points primarily from like first year to last year that it covers. But in between, it's continually jumping not only from year to year, but like month within year, and then in between characters as well. So if you're not paying attention, it can take a little bit just to have it click that this is another character, it's another time, and then you're also trying to piece together chronologically in your head where the story is, because it's not until the very end that everything seems to come together and it makes sense and it's finally played out and you can see how things happened chronologically within the story, even though it wasn't laid out as such. Of course, this does lead to the one thing I really loved about this book, and that's the fact that you couldn't anticipate what was going to happen next, let alone when it was going to happen. I loved the fact that it was always different characters. You never knew what to expect. And even when you thought you knew what was going to happen, somehow things just magically didn't happen that way. Something else happens instead. And the end game was one that I definitely could not have predicted. The ending blew my mind. It was such a perfect way to do it. And speechless. This book really does have it all. It has magic and mystery and murder, whether it's intentional or not. Sometimes you're left wondering. And it has romance and friendship and just so many amazing components that make it into this really wonderful book. In the end, The Night Circus is definitely a book that I could recommend to pretty much any age group, whether it's male or female or young or old. Everyone could really read this book and take something from it. There are characters within it that are literally every age imaginable. So it really does have something for just about everyone in it, which is fantastic. And aside from the fact that there's a minor sexual encounter scene, and there's a couple bloody scenes, nothing's too out there where a younger person couldn't read it and still be okay. I definitely recommend this book to anyone who loves the circus. I love the circus. I really love the circus. Like, if I could physically do circus things, I would want to join a circus. I also recommend this book to anyone who really wants something different to read. This is definitely a book that is far, far different from pretty much anything else I have read to date. Just the way that it's set up and the premise behind it and the completely interlocking stories of many people and places and things that come together in such a brilliant way. I was honestly left pretty speechless by the end of it. And the end was pretty damn spectacular. So that's it for my review. I don't think there's anything else I can really say about this book aside from the fact that it's amazing without giving away major spoilers. It is definitely a type of book you want to go kind of blind into. I feel like if you know too much about what is going to happen and how it's going to happen, you're not going to get the same enjoyable experience from it. I'm really, really happy that I didn't read it around the time that it first came out when there was a lot of hype for it. I regret not reading it sooner, but I like the fact that I was able to read it without constantly reading spoilers on Twitter or on Goodreads or anything else like that about it. So yeah, definitely 2 thumbs up for me, and I would love to read a second book about the same characters or some of the same characters, but I think I'll just settle for more Erin Morgenstern books, period. So until next time, guys, happy reading, and let me know down below if you've read this one already and if you've read anything that's similar to it, because now I'm really looking for other books that are like The Night Circus or similar in how it's done, because it definitely left me wanting more.